Demo is next, but before we get into demo, I'm going to let Nish talk about what is going on in the CPQ world.
Yeah, so I think Salesforce CPQ is at a very interesting stage, right? Obviously, there's a lot of buzz around Revenue Cloud Advanced, RCA, and I think there are great reasons for companies to consider moving to RCA, the whole architecture, the way it's built out, extendability, API first, just enabling agentic experience. It's wonderful there. That said, we have a lot of CPQ customers who are not going to move to RCA right away, but they should be looking at using AI so that they can significantly improve some of the key pain points that we often hear about from CPQ customers. One is CPQ UX can be difficult. There can be too many clicks. There's just too much going on. And it is hard to drive adoption, particularly where companies are trying to enable that in self-serve mode for their sales reps. And often what we find is that there are other teams, field as sales ops, that are supporting them big time. So there's always a desire to be able to drive greater adoption and cut out manual overhead, cut out those Excel spreadsheets that teams are using, even despite CPQ. The other thing that we often hear is that it's hard to launch new stuff on CPQ. If we are trying to come up with an offering, CPQ is often the reason why we have to plan things months in advance, because that takes a while to set everything up, launch it in CPQ, and then move forward. I think what excites me a lot, and we may not cover that in our demo today, but that's now possible with AI, is that we can go to a stage where CPQ and AI together can work in a way that you can use the data that's there in CPQ. You can apply all the guardrails and the data model and pricing and everything else that comes with CPQ. But you can also synthesize that with external data, which could be your business rules or which could be other things that are sitting outside of CPQ. And you can move much faster. So let's say if you're coming up with an offer right in the last week of a quarter, you can still do that because you don't need to set everything up in CPQ. You can use business rules that are sitting outside of CPQ and combine them in ways that work for your business. And then obviously agentic, right? There's so much that can be automated now with AI, where you can take away a lot of the front work for different teams and automate that with the AI. Saurabh, I know you think a lot about this area also, so I'll pass the ball to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nish. And I'm sure everyone knows it's no secret that AI is coming in. There's a lot of agentic capabilities that are getting talked about, and we'll hear a lot more in another week and a half or so at Dreamforce. The thing that I'm really interested about, and I think that applies in general, not just CPQ, in general about how technology gets used, is we now have choices of improving user experience. We have choices of newer interfaces, right? Like whether it is a bot that is embedded inside Salesforce, whether it is Microsoft Copilot, Teams, Slack, WhatsApp, WeChat, telephony, SMS, right? There's a whole slew of things that are coming in because of the conversational nature of AI and making this easier. We are going to show you a sliver of that is embedded in Salesforce today, but know that there is so much advancement happening. We are working on a lot of things, particularly with telephony, with voice and things like that. So I think if you are in this CPQ space, our emphasis is how do we improve the user experience? How do we reduce the friction and move things forward? With that said, let's move on to the next one. Nish,